I would imagine some of the most successful business people have implemented some of the methods which you teach. Do you find that to be the case when I'm sure now you've met a lot of successful business people?
If they can be really successful and not be emotionally intelligent,
Yeah.
they can have found the algorithm, for lack of a better term, for their business. And Mark Cuban says, you place 1,000 bets hoping one hits.
Yeah.
And in many cases, really successful business people have found the algorithm for the thing that they're doing, and they stuck to it, and they're ridiculously effective. So that doesn't mean they're insight into people. They found the algorithm for the business.
Yeah. Sometimes they're still a bit autistic.
They could be a little autistic, That might not be a bad thing. But then are they really curious? Do they really like people? Are they innovative?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want a new way of doing things that nobody else has done? They're not limited by best practices, because best practices aren't new. There's no pioneering in a best practice. It's what other people are already doing. And they're more fascinated by a new and unusual way to do something.
Mm-hmm.
The true entrepreneur, and those are the people that we coach, because they're just curious. They don't want to know the best practice. They want to invent the best practice.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of fun to work with.
But this is all sort of new territory for me. I've never really dug deep into it. And it's quite interesting because I'm fairly sure that there have been people who have had conversations with me that have been trying to persuade me to do something or to get something out of me. But I've just been unaware. Maybe I've just thought, this person's really charismatic and they're really nice. They're showering me with compliments. Where I think, hang on a second, is he having a genuine conversation with me, or is he trying to get something out of me?
Right.
And I want to be more prepared when I'm dealing with these types of people. Because once you become more successful, you have more status, more people want to sit down and talk to you.
Right.
Usually they want to maybe get something out of you or go into business with you. I'm sure you experience it as well. As your fame has risen, you get way more people who are reaching out, wanting to do business. How do you tell now if somebody's just genuinely wanting to have a nice conversation with you versus somebody who's trying to get something from you?
Well, I listen to my instinct more and more, because if you start listening to your instinct and you're not blinded by either your fear centers or your hopes, you could be blinded by either one. And so sorting out the gut is really hard. So you got to make mistakes along the line, or you start to look for earmarks. Is their heart in the wrong place, or are they just naive? Either one is going to be a waste of your time. Now, it's a little bit easier, both, once you start looking for what the problems are. But you got to make the mistake to find out. You got to get bit a couple times. If you wonder, if your gut says, a lot of times I'll say to myself, my gut says, I don't think this is going to work out, but I don't know if I'm going to go along because I need the data. And then it starts to jump out at you really quick. Like I can smell somebody trying to exploit me very quickly.
It'd be funny if someone tries that at this stage, knowing who you are.
Know what? Well, I'm also a challenge. For example, a question that is really revealing that I love asking somebody, I might say to you, what do you love about Dubai? And I'll watch to see, I could tell whether or not you're answering me genuinely.
Because of my body language.
Your body language. And if you really lean into that question, you're going to look up, and I could see you accessing genuine love about an environment. And you're going to tell me very quickly what your core values are. And if I'm listening, I'm going to know exactly who you are. In response, it's going to take about 2 minutes. And I'm going to get a real good idea whether or not we resonate on our core values.